From the Nothing Shocking LP, that's Jane's Addiction with Mountain Song. Boy, that's a good one, especially seeing that one live, let me tell you. Good morning, DJ, Vaqueros DJ Doc V. You are tuned into Office Hours with DJ Doc V. We'll be here till 1 p.m. over the lunch hour here. Hopefully you're getting accustomed to the new time at noon for Office Hours. Just a little bit more, hopefully more people can listen over the lunch hour. Make sure you're listening to us on Radio Garden, the free app that you can get from your operating system app store. It is free. There are some commercials on there, some splash thing, but just download that app, and it's a great app, by the way. You can see radio stations from all over the world, not just all over the country, but it's a great app. You can find those internet stations. That's Vaquero Radio. We're on the internet. We broadcast 24/7, 365, just in case you were curious about that. Usually during the academic year, we have original content Monday through Friday. Every day of the week, we've got original programming. Our newscast Monday. Make sure you follow us on social media and keep enjoying Vaquero Radio. We want to do the best we can to make sure that you enjoy all the time you are listening to us. Spring break coming in a couple weeks. Not next week, but the week after. And all of our athletic teams are on the road this weekend. So nothing to really head to. Although cheer them on. They are certainly out there. And you've got the Southland Conference tournaments coming up. For women's basketball in particular, they're going in strong, getting ready to play in that tournament. So let's wish them well as they try and raise the orange flag. That'll be great. So got some great music picked out for you today. Well, I always think it's great. I know. Well, I like all kinds of music. We've got let's see, Lindsey Buckingham. That's a unique one. It's an in studio, and it's unplugged. Lindsey Buckingham, of Fleetwood Mac. So having him doing solo. The Fleetwood Mac story, I don't know if we have enough time to talk about that story. There's just so much back and forth and personnel changes and people being mad at each other and all that other stuff. But that'll be coming up. And then a double shot of REM a little bit later from two different records of theirs. And then as we do every week, we've got This Day in History coming up at the bottom of the hour. And then at 50 minutes after the hour, our poetry moment, which relates to this day in history. So stay tuned for that. Let's get back to the music. This is Jethro Tull, kind of a deep cut, not one that you would normally hear on radio, but this is college radio. We do what we want. Yeah. We make the rules up here, right? Yeah. We don't have to listen. We don't have to play all alternative all the time, or all rock and roll, or all rap and hip. We do it all. Yeah. That's one of the great things about college radio. One of the things I've loved about college radio for, well, more than 40 years, I don't mind telling you. So here's some Jethro Tull. This is a song called Wind Up, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Oh my God, Pink Floyd. Man, I challenge anyone to provide an example of that song being played on commercial radio anywhere in the United States or anywhere else. Because number one, it's 6 minutes, so it doesn't really fit the format for your, rock and roll stations. It's a little bit too long. It's a deep cut. And this is, man, from the Metal LP. And boy, I picked this for a reason. Boy, do I have some good news for you Floyd fans. Oh my goodness. If you haven't already heard, the 1972 concert film Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii is being re-released. Remastered audio, remastered music in IMAX. For a Pink Floyd fan like me, this is like, some angel descending from heaven to tell you that, boy, I'm really, really psyched to see Live at Pompeii in IMAX. Oh, I just can't imagine. So we were looking it up. And yes, it's going to be here in the Valley on April 24th here in Edinburgh. They're going to have it, and then they're also going to have it in Harlingen. So I don't know about Brownsville yet. I'll have to check that out to make sure I get some information out to the listeners. But if you haven't seen Live at Pompeii, it's fantastic. It's really was. I mean, we're used to seeing concert films now. It's pretty common, but in 1971, 72, there was not all that not all that common. And I'll tell you, I got to go there. My daughter and I took a trip to Italy together. We went to Rome, and we took a day trip down to Pompeii to see the ruins. And I got to stand in the exact space in the amphitheater where Floyd played this concert. And keep in mind that unlike the David Gilmour live at Pompeii concert, that happened just a few years ago, this was no audience. They just took their equipment, went to the amphitheater, set it up, and played. And they played songs from earlier. They played careful with that axe, Eugene. I mean, they played a lot of songs from metal. They played songs from prior to that. From their soundtracks. They played. It was Saucer Full of Secrets. They played. It was fantastic. So get out and see the re-release of Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. They're also releasing it on DVD and Blu-ray and everywhere else. So they're gonna have a new LP with some collectibles. I mean, I just live for that stuff. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. So great news for Pink Floyd fans. That song you heard was Fearless. And the end of that, I just wanted to make sure we included that last part where the crowd's cheering. That's at a soccer game, and it's at a soccer game in England. Yeah, so that was the fans, carrying on there. As we do every week on Office Hours, we've got This Day in History, and on this day in 1965, civil rights protesters are beaten in the Bloody Sunday attack. On March 7th, 1965, in Selma, Alabama, a 600-person civil rights demonstration ends in violence when marchers are attacked and beaten by white state troopers and sheriff's deputies. The day's events became known as Bloody Sunday. The demonstrators, led by civil rights activists John Lewis of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and Hosea Williams of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, were commemorating the recent fatal shooting of Jimmy Lee Jackson, a 26-year-old church deacon, by State Trooper James Bonard Fowler. The group planned to march the 54 miles from Selma to Montgomery, the state capital. Just as they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge outside Selma, they were ordered to disperse. Moments later, police assaulted them with tear gas, bullwhips, and billy clubs. Lewis, then 25, was one of the 17 marchers hospitalized. Dozens more were treated for injuries. The violence was broadcast on TV and recounted in newspapers, spurring demonstrations in 80 cities across the nation within days. On March 9th, Martin Luther King Jr. led more than 2,000 marchers to the Edmund Pettus Bridge. On March 15th, President Lyndon B. Johnson spoke on the need for voting reform, something activists in Selma had long been fighting for. Quote, "There is no issue of states' rights or national rights. There is only the struggle for human rights. We have already waited 100 years and more, and the time for waiting is gone." King completed the march to Montgomery, along with 25,000 demonstrators, on March 25th, under the protection of the U.S. military and the FBI. The route is now a U.S. National Historic Trail. Prodded by what Johnson called the outrage of Selma, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was signed into law 5 months later, with the purpose to right that wrong. Lewis became a U.S. Congressman from Georgia in 1986 and served until he died in 2020. Also on this day in history, back in 1999, film director Stanley Kubrick passed away. Kubrick, known for his films 2001: Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, and one of his more recent ones, AI, Artificial Intelligence, with Haley Joel Osment, if I recall. Also on this day in 2010, Catherine Bigelow becomes the first female director to win an Oscar for the film The Hurt Locker, which took place as a period film that took place in Iraq, I believe. It's supposed to be in Iraq. Also on this day in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell patents the telephone. Not the phones that we're used to today that we carry around in our pockets, but phones that used to have hardwired into the. I know that it's amazing that phones had wires. What do you mean? I don't understand. Let's see what else on this day in history. Oh, finally, Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening is published on this day in 1923. And coming up here in just about 20 minutes, well, a little more like 15 minutes, we're going to do Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening as our poetry moment a little bit later. But that's this day in history, as we do every week. And now back to the music. Here's that Lindsey Buckingham song I promised you. This is an in-studio where he's doing Never Going Back Again. There's a little REM for you, double shot. That last one, Strange, off of, what was the name of that record? Document. Document was the record there. And before that, from the Dead Letter Office LP, Femme Fatale, which is a cover of a Velvet Underground song. Great pair of REM songs there for you REM fans out there. As we do first of all, this is DJ Doc V. Good morning. With you for another few minutes. 84 degrees here in the upper Rio Grande Valley. We're expecting a high today of 94. Tomorrow, your Saturday in the valley, 96 degrees with mostly sunny skies. And Sunday, a bit of a drop, 78 degrees, sunny skies. Sunny skies on Monday, sunny skies on Tuesday. Looks like we've got some good weather coming up. So, as we do every week, I have selected a poem, and this one is related to this day in history, which this day in history in 1923 was Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And here's the poem from the poetryfoundation.org. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. That's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost, first published in 1923, and part of this week's poetry moment here on Office Hours with DJ Doc V. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back next week with one more show before spring break, so hopefully you'll tune in then. Make sure you're listening to us on Radio Garden. Take us with you wherever you go. You can also go to search for us online, go to utrgvradio.com and listen to us in your browser. Please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on X still, I think. We're on Blue Sky. We're on, where else are we? We're everywhere. Where you got social media, check out Vaquero Radio and check out our great content. We've got some super creative folks that are DJs and staff, and they always put some fun stuff up on social media, so make sure you check that out. One more song for you. Here's a little Nick Cave with Are You the One been Waiting For from The Boatman's Call. Here's Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, only on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station.